When you picture ancient Rome, what comes to mind? Gladiators fighting to the death, emperors dripping in gold, legions marching across the world? Sure. But behind all that glory, there was one group that nobody ever talks about, yet they controlled the very heartbeat of Rome's economy: the bankers. And here's the twist: you might think, bankers? Oh, they must have been rich, powerful, respected. Nope, wrong. The truth is that being a banker in ancient Rome was one of the most hated, dangerous, and downright miserable jobs in history. And today, we're diving into why being a banker in Rome absolutely sucked. These bankers were called argentarii, and they didn't sit in fancy marble offices. Their workplace was a mensa, a little wooden stall, set up right in the middle of the crowded Roman Forum. Just imagine the chaos. Senators shouting about laws, merchants hawking everything from wine to slaves, and smack in the middle of it all are these guys handling your entire life savings. Their job sounds simple enough, right? Take deposits, exchange foreign coins, and lend money at interest. The problem? There was no real banking system, no deposit insurance, no federal regulations, no safety net. Everything, and I mean everything, depended on one thing: fides or trust. And in the cutthroat world of Rome, trust was worth less than a broken denarius. Handing your gold to an argentarius was basically the ancient equivalent of handing your paycheck to a stranger on the street and just praying he doesn't disappear by tomorrow. And they did disappear, sometimes with all of their clients' money. Now, if you think bankers today have a bad reputation, you have no idea. Romans viewed their bankers as blood-sucking parasites. And the reason for this hatred can be summed up in one word: debt. Rome ran on debt. Most Romans, from humble farmers to powerful senators, borrowed money for everything: to buy land, throw lavish parties, or even fund their own private armies. But when they couldn't pay it back, things got brutal. In ancient Rome, debt didn't just mean a bad credit score or bankruptcy. It could mean slavery. You could lose your farm, your house, your family, and even your own freedom. Picture this. You're a farmer who borrows money to plant your wheat crop. The harvest fails due to a drought. The next thing you know, you're chained up, serving the very same banker who used to smile at you from behind his wooden desk. This is why the argentarii were so despised. They were seen as profiting directly from the suffering of others. While families were literally torn apart and destroyed by debt, the bankers just got richer. It's no wonder people hated them. And here's the kicker: massive financial crashes aren't a modern invention. Rome had them too. In 33 AD, during the reign of Emperor Tiberius, one of the earliest recorded financial crises hit the empire. It started with a credit crunch, spiraled into a panic, and ended with land values collapsing. Merchants went bankrupt. Even powerful senators lost everything overnight. And guess who got the blame? The bankers. The public rioted, demanding that all debts be cancelled. Politicians, eager to deflect blame, accused the argentarii of widespread corruption and greed. Angry mobs demanded blood. Some bankers were thrown into prison without a trial. Others were publicly executed to appease the crowds. Imagine that. Today, you lose money in the stock market. Back then, you could literally lose your head. Now, don't get it twisted. Not every Roman banker was an innocent victim. Plenty of them were just as shady as you'd imagine. Historical records are filled with stories of their schemes. Some would tamper with coins, shaving off bits of precious metal. Others charged outrageous illegal interest rates. And a few just straight up stole their clients' deposits and fled the city. And when they got caught, the punishment wasn't a slap on the wrist or a fine. It was brutal. Public whippings, the complete confiscation of all their property, and for the worst offenders, execution. There was very little sympathy for a disgraced banker, but even the honest ones weren't safe. Simply handling money in a chaotic city like Rome was like painting a giant target on your back. Robbers would attack them in broad daylight, sometimes right in the forum, killing them for a single bag of coins. If you weren't hated by the people or crushed by the Senate, you might just end up bleeding out in a back alley. Then there was the government. Rome did have laws to regulate interest rates, the legge de usura. Sounds good, right? Except these laws changed constantly, depending on the political winds. One day, charging 12% interest was perfectly legal. The next day, a new emperor or a populist senator could declare it a crime, retroactively making your business illegal. Bankers were constantly walking on a razor's edge, completely at the mercy of political whims. They were the perfect scapegoats. Whenever the people rioted against economic inequality, which happened a lot, emperors and senators would immediately point the finger at the argentarii. They were accused of conspiracy and greed and then sacrificed, sometimes literally, to calm the mob. When the economy thrived, nobody thanked the bankers. But when it collapsed, they were always the first to burn. So, behind the illusion of wealth and influence, the life of a Roman banker was one of constant fear and misery. Hated by the public, hunted by politicians, targeted by criminals, and perpetually at risk from financial crises. While generals won glory on the battlefield and emperors went down in history, the bankers who funded it all were remembered only as villains. And that is the ultimate proof that working with money has never been a safe or simple job. From the stalls of the Roman Forum to the towers of Wall Street, one truth remains. Being a banker has always been a tough gig. But in ancient Rome, it didn't just suck, it really sucked. Thanks for watching. If you found this dive into ancient history fascinating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories you were never taught in school. See you in the next video.